Welcome to the 6th installment of Greenfoot Programming. Previously, you added animation and sound, livening up the game. Now, we'll prepare for the player's demise with a game over screen and high score table. First of all, you'll need to add the following classes. We use these for the various purposes as shown here. Additionally, you need to add an other class using edit, then new class. Give it a name high score entry. Now open the space class, adding the following import. Then add variables enter name, which keeps the player from entering a name too early, and assign a new player name object to the variable player name. In the act method, a check is made to see if the player can enter a name. If so, Greenfoot detects a key press, and if it is not null and not enter, retrieves a list of keyboard keys displayed on screen, sending the input key to the key's press key method. However, if the enter key is pressed, and if the length of the name is greater than 0, the show high scores method is called. Now it's time to add the game over screen. Add the game over method, in which you'll first remove all objects from the world. Then several objects are added. Game over label, which displays the text game over, and player name, which displays the player's name as it's being typed. Next, a double dimension array is added containing the letters of the keyboard and backspace and enter. Continuing on with method game over, a for loop is first used to iterate through the rows of the array, and inside this another for loop iterates through the columns of the array. It then places the keys on the screen based on which row and column they are in, and if they are the backspace key or the enter key. Method setName forwards any letter it receives to player name's setName method. And finally, show high scores retrieves the player's name stored in player name, removes all objects from the game, and finally displays the high score display. Now save and close the space class. Time to open keyboard key. Add the color import. And the following instance variables. My key stores the key's corresponding letter, while the rest make up the different images. The code for the constructor is made of 2 slides, so be sure to get them both to complete the constructor. First, the constructor gets passed to a string, which corresponds to its key. If it is not the enter or backspace key, it will draw the key's edge of size 50 by 50 and the key's button of 48 by 48. If it is enter or backspace, it will take the word, make an image of it, and based on its width and height, create the edge and button. Next, after the else condition, the key's letter is drawn. Then the key button image is drawn on key edge, the letter follows, and key edge is set as the object's image. Now we come to the act method, where mouse click is implemented to call space's setName method to either add or backspace a letter, or if enter is clicked, space's show high scores is called. Method press key determines if the key's letter is pressed, after which it calls space's setName. This is this class's final method, so save and close it. Now it's time to open class player name. Add the import statement as shown, and variable name to store the player's name. Method setName manipulates the name variable, drawing the player's name to the screen each time a letter is passed. And finally, getName returns variable name. Time to save and close player name. Open high score display. The color import is a familiar one. The other 3 are more specific imports of java.util, each allowing you to make and manipulate lists. The first variable you make is a list, which holds high score entry objects. More on these later. The constructor takes 4 arguments, the player's name and score, and the world width and height. It then calls fill high score list, adds the player's name and score as a high score entry object, sorts the list, and truncates its size to 10 entries. Next, margins are calculated so that the list of high score entries is centered on the screen and the players' names and scores are displayed to the left and right respectively, as a for loop iterates through the high score list. Finally, the fill high score list does what it says. It fills the high score list with names, which may be quite familiar. Time to save and close this class. Open up Game Over label and add the color import. All you need is a constructor which makes an image displaying Game Over. Let's save, close and move on. In the player class, remove the remove object line and add the Game Over method call. Save and close after you're done. Open up the new high score entry class. You need to change the class declaration to read the following. This allows sorting of this object. Add the variables name and score and the constructor, which takes 2 arguments and stores them in the aforementioned variables. GetName returns name and getScore returns score. And method compareTo adds the final touch to sorting, having it compare 2 high score entry scores, which is used by collection sort method to order the objects in a list. And there you have it. You can now destroy planets and show your achievements. Unfortunately, you can't save these scores, something which will be fixed in the next installment of Greenfoot Programming. Once again, thank you for watching. Until next time.